You know, I didn't spend around 90 hours over 2 months in this video just to gain 10 measly subscribers. If you enjoyed the video, you want to subscribe, because I will in fact make more videos similar to it. The next video I'm going to make is about cannons, and it will likely be made in a similar process to this one, which I will now explain. First I started writing a simple outline of what would happen during the video. Here it is. You might notice there's a few things changed and a lot missing compared to the final. Then I spent a whole bunch of time setting up the map scenarios with command blocks, macros, and resource pack. This part took the longest and was about 2/3 of the work. Then I wrote a first draft of the script for the voicing, trying to emphasize and add as many jokes as possible. Then I went through and recorded myself playing out the scenarios while trying to roughly respect the timing of the script. Then I edited and trimmed all my clips together to make the full video. It seems mostly seamless, but there are a whole 21 cuts throughout the video. Then I recorded my voice while respecting the timing of the full video, often editing the scripts to be shorter and flow better. Then I affixed the voice to the video, shoved in some glitch effects, rendered it, noticed a bug, re-rendered it, uploaded it, then called it a day.
Hey, do you wish to have the magic of filmmaking destroyed? And boy, do I have a video for you. Hello friends, and welcome to how to fucking offend. One thing you might notice, these �l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖕l𝖕l𝖐l𝖐 blocks. The original version had these piston all-side head things, but those are gone in this version, so I had to retexture �l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐 created these effects just by looking at them. So I have a macro mod right here. If I press the 4 on the numpad, it places these blocks, which are responsible for all this. Spawning of them right here. And the rotation of all yeah, it rotates through all the wool. That's what it does. Okay, that's what it does. If I press 5, now it goes away, resets. Also, it places this part of the reset, which deletes all of it. Oh, it also does that little jumpy up effect. It's part of in here. You see this one? Clones it from over there. And there? Oh, it's there. And then there's that one's there, and then it clones it slightly upwards, and then a little less slightly upwards, and then a little slightly downwards. And it makes it like up, and down. And does it for this one too, and this one, this one, this one, this one. It's crazy, huh? And the next thing that happens is pretty wacky over here. If you check out this macro. I actually make myself look at a specific point over the course of 0.1 seconds, and I run the command, and then after 0.3 seconds, let's go with the sneak, which means that I land in exactly the same place every time. Yeah, same place. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, doesn't work so much in creative mode. Anyways, the command blocks. Here's one. Gives you speed. This one takes away the speed, then gives you less speed, and then takes away the speed again. And all of this is to precisely time it out so that I get launched the exact right amount. And then there's also all this stuff which changes the amount of blocks my hotbar. And then there's all this which just makes the sounds of the block placing. Oh, and this one actually makes the blocks go. It just clones them slightly. That's why there needs to be 2 of them over here. If you have 1, then it does that. Could have made it better, but I didn't want to. And that's that. By the way, I retextured down the brick to be moss because I wanted moss stairs, slabs. It was very important to me. Anyways, skeletons. Crazy, huh? So if we hit the command blocks again, they're all over here. Goes spawns them in. It's crazy, huh? This bit is responsible for them launching upwards. These are the velocity values. They make them go way up and a little bit forward. And they have, you know, the custom names, the custom army, the custom team, yada yada yada. Then over here, this resets it, and this is the frontliner dude joins. You know, for flavoring, of course. These already detects them dying. Test for the one that killed. It applies all of them the motion of being knocked back. And then plays death sound, then plays the kill message, then plays the title action bar, it's 24 KD, and then it plays the raindrop sound, then it kills all of them, then it changes the display to have the scoreboard, and normally it looks like this. Then it gives them golden apples, and then it resets it, and that's it. That's the skeleton effect. See over here. Oh. Makes it look like they all get hit. Unless I lag out, in which case it doesn't look like anything. I'm gonna be honest, getting this bridge into this exact shape took quite a bit of doing. Very hard to make it curve this way, and this way, and then this way, all at once. I hope you appreciate my building skills. What's the button to make this guy appear? There you go. The skeleton. And he says, what? And the way I say this is actually a replacement of a language file, which is unknown command. I just replaced the unknown command text file with me saying truce. And then as I'm in my inventory, I sneakily replace him with a different version of it, with a skull. Fun fact, putting a skull on an armor stand normally makes it bigger than the head, so I had to manually place a block model, in this case white terracotta, because why not? And now he can retain the �l𝖐l𝖊l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐. He can do this little animation that took fucking ages. Like there was this... Where's the skeleton? So you look over here, this is where all the everything is. What does it do? I honestly forgot. This is one of the skeleton. This makes him walk, just teleporting him, gives him the walking animation. This one says stop walking. This one's the what? It says what? One of these spawns the armor stand. Two armor stands actually, because one of them has to have a helm, one of them has to have a skull. Upon learning that it has an emerald at 10, it gives him a custom name. Sure, why not? Then it gives everyone with that custom name a tick time. And it can't just directly give the emerald the tick time, because when it throws the emerald it will stop ticking up, and it'll be pretty fucking stupid, you know? Imagine that. What else is in here? The tick time goes up, and it increases the pose, changes all the pose parameters. Every single one of these command blocks is a pose parameter. Every single one of these is a frame of animation. It took fucking half a week just for this. And this is the stuff spawning it. Test for 6, and it looks like you summoned some skeletons. In fact, it summons them many times. Oh, I get it. Wait. I used a weird hack. All of these have to exist in order for the other skeletons to exist, because of a dumb trick I used where every skeleton is spawned based on an existing wither skeleton. There's absolutely no reason for me to do this, but that's how it is. Yeah. It happens. There's normally invulnerable, by the way, don't worry about it. What else is in here? This is the spawning of the wither skeleton. Each one of these is a wither skeleton. Then you can kill them. Notice these guys are surrounded in barriers, which is why they can't move. But then they gain the ability to move when I hit one of these hotkeys. I forgot which one it is. I think it might be I. Okay, there we go. Some shit starts flickering, and all of a sudden they can shoot at you if I let it work. That's right. Okay. Taking shots. Okay, stop that. Stop that. So for the finale of Golden Drought, I do a little trick here where I block in, and I break this, and then I exit the map, and then I join the map, and I'm in the other place now. It's perfectly seamless. And silverfish shows up. It's pretty simple. If it just checks for using the wrong command config, hold on. It just checks for where the fuck is it? I think it's this one. Yes. Summons a silverfish, gives it the particle spawning, and that's actually it. That's the whole command. Very fancy. What else we got here? These spawn the sheep. They have a color, they have a name, they have a coordinate. This one moves them, teleports them in the direction they're facing, and sets them to the angle that they're facing, which you might notice doesn't really work, because they like to spin out a lot. They like to spin out a lot. There we go. I don't know why it does that. No clue. You will also, of course, notice that this is actually ice. It's retextured. In retrospect, I probably should have retextured the other type of the different ice to make an actually decent pattern instead of just obviously lines. I spent a lot of time on this pattern, which is barely visible in the video, and this one, which is I spent a full minute looking at, just fucking lines. If you can't tell, this water is held in place by fence gates, so I can't go through. This water, however, is held in place by barriers because I don't really know. I just kind of wanted to be able to shoot through these waters. Who cares about these ones? So, fun fact about the orange world turning into orange lime orange wool. This has nothing to do with the resource pack. I didn't even change the resource pack. I actually just continued filming with the same one. The part where I change it is a cut to a different part entirely. It has nothing to do with what happens. And then if I press which button? Fuck. Hold on. It's one of these buttons. It might be this one. No. This one. No. This one. No. This one. There you go. It switches to orange. It changes the sign. It changes this bit. It changes, and then it clones this chest from elsewhere. And also changes the scoreboard, of course. I'm doing this in a really recording this in a really wacky order. Don't worry. This is the lime chest for the reset button. This is the orange chest. It just teleported way over there, along with the signs, which are both from the original map. This is the old from an old version of the script. It's not used anymore, don't worry. And the intention of this was that this was for chat continuity. You know, normally it would say all these things, then it would say picked up lime wool, but I changed it so it says these things, then picked up orange wool. Can't exactly overwrite a chat message directly, so you have to place more of them. But it turns out I didn't even use this at all, so just a waste of time. And then it detects if I have lime wool in my inventory. Alright, so here's all this. Where is it? If you detect that you take one wool of lime, then it tests for the chest being identical, then it runs some stuff, some fireworks. Says he picked up the thing, plays the sounds, and does some scoreboard shit. I should explain the scoreboard, huh? The one on �l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐 was pretty simple. It just entirely changed which objective I was displaying, which changed all of it. But in this one, it's gotta be a bit more complex. The flashing flags, it's right here. That's it. This is the whole effect. Changes the team of the line. Changes it back. It's also called �l𝖐l𝖕l𝖕l𝖕l𝖕, by the way. Don't worry about that. That's because it's a duplicate. In fact, I'll show you. Hold on. Yep. This is what the scoreboard looks like when I delete all of the teams. Notice some weird mixes here. For example, the fact that it says red and blue and then ed and blue, because you can't have more than one of the same player. And of course, �l𝖕l𝖕l𝖕l𝖕 used to be a line. And then you'll notice quite weirdly that magenta and pink still exist perfectly fine, and that's because their entire name, color codes and all, are just the username, as opposed to the others where it's part of a team. And the reason for this is it makes them manipulable with command blocks. You can't exactly type out magenta color code, empty box, blank space, reset color code, magenta space wool. You have to type out just normal username, like the word green. That's the username. I'm sure someone has that. And that allows you to move things around, like everything under lime has to move up by 1. And then you can see over here, if you pick up the cyan wool, then everything goes up by 1. Stop at 12, now it stops at 13. Also, Stratus has to be the thing because of the boat. Remember the boat? Yeah, the boat changes to lifeboat's IP. The boat appears. It's a joke. Shout out to Jason Numbers for making that joke. Great job, Jason Numbers. This is the same thing, don't worry. I noticed I forgot to talk about the gameplay launcher. It's a blaze rod and a bone. The reason being because if you put a bone in your offhand, it doesn't mirror it, as opposed to a normal item like a boat. It's rather noticeable if you do it like this. See the shovel? Points forward, here it points backward. If you have it with a bone, let's not do that. They point the same way. Shadows would point backwards, shadows point backwards. Which makes it good for dual wielding. However, I realized that this makes no difference because I just changed maps anyways. The actual effects where I explode is so wait, where's the button? There we go. It's an explode button. Just make it explode. Explodes. Pretty cool, huh? If you check out the command block for the explosion, it says here it gives you some resistance and explodes, then explodes, then explodes, then it explodes. And then it resets. Yeah, there it is. Now I don't know if you can tell, but there are some very hidden command blocks over there that are responsible for the detection of this arrow over here. This is because a command that normally detects for arrows in a certain coordinate region, this doesn't fucking work. I don't know why. I guess I could have used an execute command and just put an invisible armor stand right here. Okay. It detects an arrow, it runs the command, it spawns an arrow, doesn't matter the angle, just hits right in the dude, plays the mist regardless, does an explosion regardless. The skeleton's supposed to get shot up into the air. Hold on. The skeleton's supposed to get shot up into the air. It's the same velocity trick as before, same playstyle and command, you know how it is. Alright, see this other dude? Take him out with the sword this time. But the trick is that we actually don't, it's just a command. Swing has nothing to do with it. Also make use of switching out the different swords because whoops, it's in texture, so you don't get it. But the extending animation is on the golden sword, the retracting animation is on the wooden sword, and then the stone sword is on the stone sword. And the reason for this, and it not just being a single item, is because there's actually a limit on how many frames of animation there can be on a single item, and the number is apparently like 30, so I had to use a bit more than that, which made it a fucking pain to record. Funnily enough, only dies if I do the command. If I hit him, it's whatever. There you go. Just kinda sync that up. By the way, all this shit, this is responsible for the death of the dude. You make a portal, you make the arrow, give the skeleton the velocity, make the explosion sound, make the explosion particle, kill the dude, play the sound, play the message, reset, change the scoreboard, play another sound, play the action bar, play another sound, and then give a golden apple. Except I fucked that up in the original video because I actually had this amount of apples already because I ate 2 instead of 3 and I didn't plan it very well and it was until the end. Don't worry about that. Yeah, here's a fucking weird one. This is an old version of my skin. It doesn't quite match up. Anyways, take the friend off and down. Go into this tunnel, which has a really fancy transition effect where I wallow the world. That's the transition. Hope you enjoyed. This is the last part of the map. You notice there's a bit of texturing going on. These are jack-o'-lanterns because they give off light. And those are sea lanterns because those are the only other block in the game that gives off light. I mean, there's like glowstone, I guess. And then there's redstone lamps, but those require redstone. It's a fucking pain. Smoothly transition down into here. Did the boat just break? Are you fucking kidding me? Fall down here. This took quite a while to make, about a week. All this effect, all this stuff, all this building, very fancy, you know, look at it, quite a lot of detail here. This thing, very cool shape, huh? Yeah, great shape. I barely look at it for like 5 seconds in the final video, but look at how long it took to make. Look at that. Look at all this. Look at all this shit. So much stuff. I made all this down here. You didn't even notice there was something down here. Look at this. Look where the skeletons are. Look at it. I don't know if you noticed, but there are no spawners because the longer the spawner exists in the world, the harder they lag it out. So I had to place them at the very last minute. This is a backup without them. It's kind of weird. I had a button to go into. These are responsible for the scoreboard. This resets it. This detects when you have a lime wool in your inventory or a green wool in your inventory, then it starts the green hill shit. And this is a long, massive, fuck off chain of command blocks that is responsible for upping the percentage continuously. Every single one of these sets a user with the name of the percentage to have this objective score of 2, then resets the objective score of the number for it. And every single one of those is manually placed onto the team that makes it say percent green hill. Took so long. Took so fucking long. Look at how long it is. What else we got here? These are all the effects for placing the wool. Some of them make a sound and some of them don't. On this one I didn't even give a shit, I just said text for go block. It was kind of like the final reveal. Hey, this is definitely command blocks, by the way. There is no PGM involved whatsoever. All of this, I recreated this manually. I had to use NBT editor, like a fuckload. It was ridiculous. What does this block do? Oh, this is the one for yeah. Which one is this? Oh, I see. These ones are responsible for the detection of the placement of the blocks on the victim monument. It says, hey, if there's a wool here, then you do the sound, give them the text message, and then you give them the changes the scoreboard, so it looks like it's finished. If you press, yep. Look at that. It's filled in now. Capture. Wow, crazy, huh? This shit is the lights going out. This makes the lights go out over time. Makes lights go way out. Sometimes 2 of them show up at once. Sometimes I do it like this because I didn't feel like moving the command blocks every single time I want to change the timing even slightly. This one just puts them back all at once because I don't give a shit. It's a reset button. It's not supposed to have timing. Who do you think I am? If you look at it over here, you can press the button, whichever button it is. Hopefully I remember which button it is. You? There it goes. Look at that timing. It just turns all back on at once. Because who gives a shit? It's a reset button. Come on. Over here is the explosion button. One of the best buttons of all. Summon an explosion, and summons an explosion, and an explosion, another explosion. There's some explosions. Here's another explosion. Another one. Yeah, it keeps going. Lots of fucking explosions here, huh? A lot of things explode in this finale over here. The double gameplay launcher, whatever the shit. In fact, it wraps around. It's more than 100. I mean, more than 50. 100, yeah, 100. Yeah, it's 200 long. 200 blocks. 100 command blocks. Because there's a repeater. Do the math. And then if we...
Narrator narrates all.
And then if we look over here, we can see all the death messages and stuff. So hostile zombie was blown up by the gameplay launcher, and then hostile zombie was blown up by the gameplay launcher, all these death messages, and then it does the KD bar and the thing, and then it does the... It gives another fucking... There's a ridiculous number. Every single scoreboard change required a new team. You change the team that red is on so that it says 29, and then you give them another team that says 32, and another team that says 34, and it changes the prefix of this little dude over here every single time, and then you play some sounds or whatever. And all this shit, I had to like roughly sync up to where it would actually hit them. It's not like I detected exactly how many people I killed at any given moment. No, it's just all scripted and all of it. Like if we run the command now,
Qwuiblington says set block -99 204 -99 Minecraft redstone _block.
It's not quite it, hold on. This is like a safeguard to make sure I don't accidentally do this, because it blows up everything. Literally everything was blown up here. Rather notably. Everything. So I don't really want to accidentally activate this as I'm testing things out. Just kind of remove the slash. Yeah, there's my face. And
block placed.
One of these buttons.
Block placed.
One of these buttons. One of these buttons right here. One of them. One of these buttons. One of the buttons.
Block placed.
There we go.
Block placed. The block couldn't be placed.
One of them.
Block placed.
Well, it gets rid of the face, so you get the idea. Gonna be honest, this is kind of when I started phoning it in. This is just literally an exact duplicate of the part from above. And then this just sloppy bridge parkour. This is the exact victory monument from Vex's Super Hostile series. Looks like shit. Vex is an awful builder. It's a fun fact about all this place. It was originally going to be a literal copy-paste of a Super Hostile map. I just blow up everything in there, and it's like, whoa, you blew up an entire Super Hostile map. But then I decided I didn't want to. So I just made everything myself, and it took quite a few days just to build all this shit, and it's just for a one-off gag where I blow it up. But it looks pretty cool, guys, come on, look, it's cool, right? Looks great. And then of course for the very end, I literally just cut. I just posed here, did a cut, left the game, closed the game, opened the game up again, had a different skin on this time, and then third person didn't. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. And do folks like blooper reels? I saved like a shitload of all my failed attempts. You can watch them.
I have only just now noticed that all of that footage was recorded with my old microphone, and for that I am terribly sorry. You know, I bought this mic just to finish that video. It cost me a whole $35. I hope you appreciate that, because now you know what it would sound like if I hadn't. If you care, all of the backing music to this video came from the game Baba Is You. It's a very enjoyable puzzle game that I still haven't beaten. I highly recommend it. I decided to add its music to this video partially because I think it fits the tone, but also because music was necessary to keep some continuity through all those jump cuts. I also apologize for that incredibly hyperactive YouTuber jump cut editing style. That's just what has to happen when I do live commentary in one take. If I had used the raw footage, this video would have been 15 minutes longer. You probably noticed I've been trying to improve at editing. This is sort of in preparation for future videos, which I expect to be a lot more heavily edited, with all sorts of fancy effects everywhere. Technically speaking, How to Offend was actually very light on the proper editing part. The time spent on the program doing edits, it just came together very easily as a result of extensive planning. I did a lot of takes, most of the good ones, tried very hard to keep the continuity from those good takes when I recorded the next, and when it came to the editing, all I had to do was put one in front of the other and trim them a bit. Also the glitch effect, I guess, but that was technically done by someone else. The guy who made it is named Thai Photo. I put the link to that in the original video description. Anyways, fuck davinci Resolve. It keeps crashing and sometimes it crashes my entire computer. The concept with trying to keep everything continuous came from the original How to Fucking Defend series, which I barely watched. They were boring as hell. I did get some of the ideas from the small parts I did watch, like being interrupted by someone asking to scrim. Over time, the project became less and less a parody of that and more of its own thing, but I couldn't rename it because I already made that big sign at the start. Originally, I had the idea to copy all of the voice mannerisms from that series, How to Defend, but then I just decided to take it in whichever direction worked best. In this case, I happened to be inspired a lot by a YouTuber named �l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐. I learned of him a few years back when 𝖙l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐 linked me to him on the basis that his voice kind of sounded like mine. So, naturally, I ended up watching nearly all his videos and subscribing. He has a rather interesting style. He takes the sort of overly philosophical attitude to video games in ways that shouldn't really matter, like explaining the ethics of following traffic laws in Grand Theft Auto Online using multiverse theory. I don't know how much of what he says he actually believes, and which, if anything, is satire. For better or worse, his latest video was a 30 to 50 feral hogs gag, so take that how you will. Personally, I don't know how much of what I said in my own video actually meant. The script was sort of flowed from my mind. I used as much philosophical language as I know purely as a vehicle for the video's gags, but sometimes that required me to impart my actual philosophy so as to stay convincing. For example, the sheep section was essentially prompted by the idea, stare at this contraption for a minute while rambling general life improvement advice, so that's what I did, and I claim no responsibility for what came out of it. Alright, time for some random trivia. You might wonder how I even counted all the jokes in this video, not just the voice ones, all of them. Quite frankly, so do I. I have absolutely no idea how I came up with any of this, I just know I used to be worse-headed. That's it, trivia over. Next piece of trivia. Jason Numbers wrote 4 of the jokes that made the final cut, those being changing the wool using a resource pack, taking off my own head then placing it down, shooting the defender through a portal, and the sidebar IP changing to lifeboats, which you probably didn't even notice. He also helped by manually copying down the coordinates for the big explosion at the end, and I marked them with blocks. Every single other thing was made by me alone. Trivia over, next trivia. I had to change the title because YouTube still managed to flag it as profanity, which hurts it in the algorithm despite the fact that it was an obscure Unicode font, not even the same font throughout, and had spaces between each letter. I had to break it up by putting a standard lowercase l between each letter, which made it think it was the word �l𝖑l𝖎l𝖐l𝖎l𝖐l𝖎l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐l𝖐 then put a couple of fancy things in the end just to make it look like it was all on purpose. Of course, that ended up not mattering, because only 11 views came from the YouTube algorithm regardless, which sort of puts into question why I even made this video. In fact, I'm going to answer exactly that. Why did I make How to Offend? Well, I've been trying to break into creating one complete video for a while now. The first was when I was 10 years old and tried making a quick Club Penguin gag video with unregistered hypercam and Windows Movie Maker. I never got past the first leg of that because I couldn't get a single good take. Since then I've made various attempts at producing a single coherent edited video. I think my experience the first time gave me a complex, a fear of working with actual editing programs. The closest I got was a random compilation of Rainbow Six Siege footage inspired by good pal JC Numbers. That was a pain to work with and it ended up failing when I lost all the footage to a hard drive crash. I don't think it would have been that good anyways. I was sort of paralyzed by option overload. There was just so much footage to be sorted through. This one ended up working so much better because everything was scripted beginning to end. I sort of got over my issue and now I've managed to make a video purely out of me talking and flying around a Minecraft map for 20 minutes. The next thing to take note of is Race for Tournament Victory 4.5T yada yada yada, the shitpost map that I suppose this video is a spiritual successor to. It had become increasingly embarrassing to ask myself what the best thing I ever created was, and answer was something from early 2016. After spending quite a bit of time away from the crafting life, I decided to return to my roots. This time spending an estimated 90 hours of work to complete as opposed to RFTV's roughly 30. I think you can appreciate the amount of effort that went into it, which brings me to my biggest regret in making this video, that being that I made it for the Stratus network. It is absolutely minuscule. OCN was considered already dead once it started dropping below 300 concurrent players. Stratus somehow managed to struggle to get a fifth of that and has been doing so for 2 years. I realized this about 2/3 of the way through the project, and it made me feel like my work was going to end up being pointless. Unfortunately, I couldn't really repurpose it into something else, so I decided to finish it anyways. Meanwhile, in the time it took to make my one video, JC made 5, not on Stratus, not even on Minecraft, on Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, and now he has 30 times my sub count. While I have gotten nothing but positive feedback from this handful of people, he's shown what it's like to have an actual potential audience, so I'm dropping you losers. It's time to generalize and expand. Regardless, if you enjoyed my last video, you'll likely enjoy the next ones. I am Qwuiblington. You want more Qwuiblington? Subscribe to Qwuiblington. More Qwuiblington. Do you understand?